Hello, everyone. We are live. Welcome to the Starlight Council of Five Roundtable. I am Julie Sherwood, yourbesthopeswc.com, 13 sign constellational astrologer, amongst many other things. Just go to my website and you'll see all the stuff I do. Hello, everyone. We are live. Excuse me, I've got to mute that. Starlight. There we go.
Feedback.
I got to push all the buttons. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and partner in some of the other things we've been doing. Maria, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Did you say yourbesthopeswc.com? I think you
I
did.
did.
All
And it's
right,
right on my little window here too, so we keep it there.
cool. We're all each other's biggest fans here. So I'm Maria Schumacher. I am Vian at Venus-13.com. I do constellational 13 sign astrology and a little bit of witchcraft on the side, which is fun, my lifelong kind of thing. You can find me on Facebook in a number of places, but mostly venus-13.com.
All right, River.
Hello, my name is River of River of Stars Astrology. I do 13 sign astrology, true sky astrology, astronomical astrology, many names for essentially the same thing. You can find me on Facebook, River of Stars Astrology, Instagram, same, and on Substack, the same, River of Stars Astrology, and Stan Store coming very soon,
Yay,
which will also be River of Stars Astrology.
fabulous. Next on my screen, Michael.
Oh, hello. My name is Michael. I practice out of One Sky Astrology. That's oneskyastro.com. I guess I keep a pretty low social media profile. I'm on Facebook, and you can find me in the Radical Astrology group. Um, and I have a YouTube channel at One Sky Astrology.
Yay,
Yeah,
fabulous.
thank you.
And Ms. Varone.
Hello, my name is Verone Bright. The main thing I'm doing is helping liberate souls out of limiting belief systems, and I do this by a multitude of things. One thing being tuned into the true life sky. I help you liberate out of limiting beliefs. I help you activate your star body so that you can live your authentic truth. You can find me, best place is Instagram at Starship Moonbeam. You can find me, Verone Bright, on Facebook, and you can find my podcast, Star Body Empowerment, on all live streaming channels. And yeah, we'll post all the links.
Yes, we
Yeah,
will.
cool.
All right. Well, who wants to start in this basket of fun? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Come on, somebody jump in.
Somebody jump in. Yeah,
Go. Shall we talk
I mean,
basket?
I think it's an exciting day. Before we get to the basket, just the fact that Jupiter has entered Cancer, I find that to be an exciting thing. I just got a text. I mean, as a reflection of this energy, right before we hit play and record, I got a text. I have a someone in my family who is giving birth at this moment, and I got a text. The baby's almost here.
Yay!
So
I
I
got that
think
text
that
too.
is very much a metaphor for this energy. That expansive Jupiter enters the stars, traditionally considered of Jupiter's exaltation. So, yeah, this is the birthing portal, and I'm excited.
Yay!
Mm. Yeah,
Yay!
Jupiter always has been considered to do well in Cancer, but it's by the same sort of logic, not so well in Gemini. So it is nice. It's a nice like transition into like Jupiter just seems happier. And yeah, yeah. Seems maybe more empowered would be a better way to say it than happier. We don't I don't know. I don't presume Jupiter's happiness or mood as a planet, but certainly empowered in his energies in Cancer.
He's definitely got a nurturing side, doesn't he? I would say Jupiter would make a great father, except that he would probably be the Disney World father, right? That over under thing that Jupiter has. He's either like the total, yeah, spoil him and all of this and just whatever, and the most loving, awesome Disney World father ever, unless he's completely neglecting them because he's off chasing some woman, in the form of a swan. So over under in Cancer could be a little narcissistic neglect.
And it is good to talk about the energies at both ends of the spectrum, right? How to keep that energy in balance. Now, I have to say, as a strong Gemini chart, I kind of liked him in Gemini, but the downfall of that for somebody like me is I want to learn everything and I want it all now.
Yeah.
So this is a time to get into that nurturing space of the things that I played with in Gemini. Yeah. So it's a big shift.
I think Jupiter going into the constellation of Cancer has a lot to do with receiving. That's what I've been really tuning into as a person who loves to do stuff as a default. I've been practicing just opening up to receive, because how are you going to receive anything if you're always learning, if you're always doing, if you're always figuring out, if you're always overing? So I've been taking this time as the ingress of Jupiter into Cancer of just like walking around, being in nature, just opening up to receiving, knowing that abundance isn't something we have to wait for, that it's all around us all the time. And like, even with the breath, like inhaling and exhaling. So I think this is a good time, and it's a good practice to work with receiving, because a lot of times we block the reception, we block our abundance because we're too busy filling in that empty space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Cancer, divine feminine energy, right? It's as opposed to Gemini with divine masculine. It's giving that receiving energy.
Well, and water, yeah,
Water.
the receptivity of water, trying to Pisces stuff.
And even though Jupiter's sort of associated with Sagittarius as a sort of like quote unquote fire planet, he gets that sometimes. I think first of all he's a gas giant, and second of all, the energy that he shares with Sag is like that moving forward, really instinctive, just kind of like goes for it. And I don't know how well Gemini's kind of like mental approach to everything really favors his activity, but I know that in the old Hellenistic way of looking at Jupiter, he was known to be warm and moist. Those were his qualities. And like the like Saturn is like cool and dry, and Jupiter's warm and moist, and that's the qualities for growth. And I think Cancer lends itself to that. It aligns with that maybe the moist anyway. And yeah, it's interesting to think about it in all these ways.
Well, it's interesting you say, I want to see how many times we can say the word moist, warm and moist, because this I've been getting a lot of information about the fifth element of ether. And how it's a different way to like move about the cabin, right? So we have all these senses to us, most senses we're not even using all the time. I truly believe we're a field of intelligence. We're not just like these single bodies. We're an entire field picking up on information all the time, whether we're aware of it or not. And so really working with that like other element of ether, which makes me think it does have like a moist quality to that, and being able to, Jupiter's all about expansion. So instead of just maybe pushing forward, you're expanding like your field of understanding, you're even growing, what's already there. So I like that. I've never heard the planets described and like whether they're like wet or dry. I haven't thought about that.
I
Oh
like
yeah.
I like that too, that warm and moist qualities of growth, and then the nurturing aspect of Cancer, and then fatherhood.
Yeah.
Of course, there's just something about Jupiter and fatherhood this go round of Cancer that is standing out to me. I wonder if anybody else has that sort of exploring qualities of nurturing and supporting growth from the masculine side.
Well, the ingress occurred, yesterday was Father's Day. So
Yes.
that's
There it is.
the
Uh-huh.
ingress. So I think that's pretty interesting.
Mhm.
As far as, I don't know, I suppose that's just the United States that celebrates
Britain,
Father's
too.
Day, but where? Okay.
Britain. Hmm.
But yeah, I think these things are interesting, these
Yeah.
synchronicities.
How long is he staying there? We were talking about that in the green room.
So
Forever.
according to the constellational boundaries of via Stellarium, the IAU boundaries, it's almost exactly 3 months. Today, the 22nd until of June until September 23rd, I believe. So I can let me show
Yeah.
those images.
Yeah.
3 months through Cancer. He doesn't go retrograde, does he, until he gets to Leo?
Correct.
That's correct? Okay, wow. That's a
Mm-hmm.
fast pass.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Phew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
As
it's like
realize.
opposed to Mars, who was in Cancer for what, 800 years? He was a
Yeah, he went
long
right.
time in Cancer.
Yes,
795,
he
but who's counting?
was.
well, this first image is actually the September image. This is when Jupiter is leaving
Okay.
Cancer, but this is September 23rd. So yeah, I just think these 3 months, there's a lot of opportunity, but you have to reach out for it. Those blessings of Jupiter, you can just receive them, but I think also there's an active hand in this. Like, this is a 3 month like time to really bring in that abundance of Jupiter through these stars of exaltation. So that's the September image. And let's see if I have the other one pulled up. And then this is today. This is like right now. And so that's Jupiter just entering Cancer.
Nice.
Making at the center of Cancer, that's the beehive cluster of stars. It's like a stellar nursery. So again, that also known as the manger, and it has been seen as like the biblical manger with their two stars surrounding it that are the asses, like not like donkeys, that type of ass. But they're like in the manger scene, the donkeys, and so they like guard either side of the manger. I think that there's a lot of astrologers who have placements here because it's the inception point, the source, that the manger, the birthing place. And like as astrologers, we're always looking at birth charts as a map of that moment. And so that's not the only possibility as a profession by any means. I mean, all kinds of things, but I just wanted to give a nod to astrology and Cancer.
Yeah, but even the crab is like associated like death, birth, rebirth gate. It's a gate of that manger, like Christ consciousness, that place of like yeah, that total illumination where, this idea of like where Jesus was born, also a place of death and underworld. So I don't think
Mhm,
that
mhm.
life and death
That's right.
gates you can't separate the two, right? You can't have a life gate without a death gate. You can't have a life death gate without a rebirth gate. So I really see this as like, as we're opening up to more abundance. Abundance is so much, abundance is more than just money in your bank account. You have to be able to let go the death quality, creation, destruction of what is no longer aligned to who and what you're becoming, the life that you want. You can't keep clinging on to the same old things and expect yourself to open up to more. You can't have the same old clothes hanging in the closet and expect yourself to have a whole new wardrobe. So that death quality and that destruction quality is also like completely necessary for us to be able to expand into higher octaves of our souls and bigger, rebirths, even with the silver gate being activated with the sun, this place of like incarnation, this place of,
Right.
allowing more of us to come in to this life. We're not the same person that we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. May have essence of
12 years ago.
12 years ago, exactly, or even yesterday. We may have that essence of ourselves, but we don't owe anybody our old self. We don't owe anybody old versions of ourselves. So I do think that this summer particularly is going to be a time of like really deeply shedding those parts of us that just like are not going forward anymore. They're outdated. Maybe they served us to a point, but they don't anymore. To have a rebirth, part of you has to die, so.
He stations
Varun, may I
Sure.
may I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry, Julie. Do
No,
you mind if I ask Vern a question and follow up to what?
I was just going to say he stations retrograde December 13th. So wanted to put that out there.
Okay,
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you kindly. I was going to ask you, Vern, if you knew about the Chinese asterism in that is the main stars of Cancer in Chinese astrology. Have you ever heard of the ghost procession or the ghost carriage?
Yes, I am. Okay, so I've got my iPad up right now, and I'm looking at my past notes. And that's literally what I'm looking at right now. So yes.
Yeah. This is a very weird area of the sky.
Yeah.
And Jupiter's going to be pretty close to there when he makes his like real move, his real close contacts. And I think it's such an interesting point, whether it's like this, I mean, nurturing, emotional, inner growth point, or a death and resurrection, a sort of phoenix fire point. And it can be all the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we need to create a sort of mutual exclusivity between the death rebirth process and caring and nurturing and all the inner growth. It doesn't have to be two things. I think Cancer is very strange.
Well, yeah, sometimes like being nurtured and cared for isn't always sweet. It's not necessarily coddling. Sometimes to be nurtured and cared for, sometimes it's like, you get a swift kick, and so
the crab claws, you get some, right?
For real. I mean, even the crab shell, that's like that hard exterior,
That's
So
yeah.
In Sumer. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that crab shell Cancer is like when the moon's there, it's very much about secrets, the place where we keep our precious things that we don't necessarily want everybody to see. Cancer, even when you look back to Cancer in Egypt, wasn't that a beetle?
Yeah, the scarab.
It was the scarab.
Scarab, right?
And I was going to point out that in Sumer, it was the snapping turtle, not just a tortoise, but a snapper. Them are monsters.
Right. Yeah. So there's claws and there's shells, and it's not a friendly, let's let everybody in and have a good time. It's like, no, this is a place of nurturing, but it's also highly guarded.
Yeah, like a temple.
Yes. Yeah.
Not everybody gets to come into your inner world and your inner temple. You're not just going to let any rando off the street come into your bedroom and crawl in your bed. Like, same kind of energies here. And this is kind of like very Gnostic too. It's like for those who seek and practice, life may change. For those that just rinse and repeat and do the same thing, you may not get it. It's for everybody, but maybe not everyone has the like guts to be able to like go in and bravely like seek that wisdom deep inside the scarab, the crab.
It's for sure. Cancer, there's also again, whenever there's like a lunar transit or Mars transiting through, there was big for this, a clean out. And Verone, you alluded to this. Like if you want to reach out for more, if you want to bring more in, cancer reminds us that when we want to bring more in, we have to let go of. So you have to make space. Space is finite in this body, in every respect, and I wonder about the last we were talking about the last time Jupiter was here was 12 years ago. What kind of things did we clean out of our sacred temples 12 years ago? When maybe that had to do with fathers, maybe that had to do with
Home.
yeah, exactly, straight up home. Your living space.
Speaking of Mars, I believe, River, when you showed the graphic for when Jupiter exits Cancer, I believe Mars was ingressing to Cancer. So as he's leaving, we get that last push to do that clean out that you just mentioned, Maria.
Well, and Sun is going to be transiting during this time too. Sun and Jupiter are conjunct in Cancer on July 29th.
Wow.
Jupiter.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
Do you want to see some of the time tables for this in transit graph form?
Yeah, that'd be great. So River, if you want to take your
Cool.
share, there you go. Then Michael can jump in.
Oh yeah.
Fabulous.
Let me
While you're
get
pulling
there.
that up, I'm gonna just give a couple comments. We have a few live stream joiners here. Pillars of the Moon said they had flash flooding in Somerset today.
Oh my goodness.
Water expansion. She also mentioned Mars getting closer to Uranus, so we may want to touch on that. And then the Sprout Queen, I'm waiting for partner to be approved for Medicaid long-term care. Sounds like it could happen during this time. So.
And as you pull that up, Michael, I just had a comment about the life-death simultaneity of this Cancer place. And that, so one baby is being born now, just a personal anecdote. I have another family member giving birth in a few weeks, and Verone will actually be in the room.
I'm a doula now. What can I do?
But this baby is named after his grandfather who died 1 year ago, and he's due at his grandfather's death day, and he's named after him as well. So just that.
And he will be in that room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know he will.
Oh right.
Yeah. So the ancestors and connect. I think that's a strong theme with Cancer, as well as the nurturing, the birth. But yeah, even crabs. The ghost. I always think of ghost crabs at night, the white ones that you. And that mystery. I mean, the constellation itself is really dark and mysterious. As far as the zodiac, it's very dim. So it has that nocturnal quality.
I just want to say Pillars of the Moon said, amazing. Let me know if I can support from here. I support births too.
Nice. Thank you. And
Thank you.
I wishing you well, Pillars of the Moon, Rebecca, with that flooding happening. Thank you both for sharing those personal stories.
And Michael, as you were mentioning the not looking at death rebirth as mutually exclusive, we have one of our participants in the Constellational Conversations group that Maria and I do that looks at Scorpio, Pluto, 8th house as the composting site. And I love that because that in and of itself really describes that.
That's it. Fecundity. It's so taboo. No one talks about fecundity at the dinner table. Although without it, you wouldn't be eating anything. It's it's perfect. 8th house, perfect example. I love that.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, when people talk about like letting go, I think this is just people talk about this all the time, right? They're like, just let it go. It's like letting go and surrender is kind of one of the most grueling things you can do because it's not a passive action. It's not just like, well, I let it go. You're going to have to release it from your thoughts. You're going to have to release it from your daily practice. You're going to have to the amount of letting something go and surrendering over, especially if it's very old and very deep and something you've done your whole life, generations back, like surrender is a very active practice. It's not about apathy. And sometimes we have to let go of things that we wanted to work out. Sometimes we have to let go of things that, like, as somebody who's lost a lot of friends, like, I didn't want to lose those relationships, but I kind of had no choice if I wanted to continue forward. And so I just want to, like, give some voice to that, because I think people talk about letting go so much, like on social media, and sometimes it can feel excruciating.
Yeah. And you have to grieve.
Wow, yeah.
You have to grieve. That's part of it. Even if it's a piece of you you don't want to
Oh, yeah.
hold on to, there's still a grieving process that goes with that identity. And cancer, I mean, geez, talk about the perfect place to do that, right?
Right.
So,
Well, and just
So
because you've let something go doesn't mean it doesn't follow you home. Right? It's gonna.
That part, exactly. You let it go how many times you have to let it go.
Right.
Right, really. But and here's okay, so let me like dovetail all these like various ideas together. In light of babies and births, Barbeau predicts the birthday of a new world age next
Oh,
month.
yes. Okay, this
Right.
is where it gets
The
good.
whole this is probably where I should share my
yes.
screen, because I think a lot of people watching are going to be really familiar with let's see, I'm gonna do a different way. And okay, we'll try it this way. Can you see all this?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is kind of a freeze frame, July 20th, 2026, which is the peak. You can see by the closeness in the aspectarian, the zeros. There are a lot of zeros, including Jupiter zeroed opposite Pluto. And this is the formation of Barber's basket that people are very excited about. And it gets to this kind of maximum closeness. But Jupiter's here with the stars of Cancer in the beehive cluster and everything that we're talking about: death and rebirth, nurturing, growth, babies, new ages. And I mean, trine Neptune, this is a great signature for being in the right place in the right time, attracting wealth. In Pisces could be spiritual wealth value. Sextile to Uranus. This is a signature of success, just big success. Uranus and Jupiter are like wild buddies. They win together. And Jupiter opposite Pluto, well, Pluto intensifies any opposition. So Jupiter is just kind of gaining the intensity of Pluto. And what Pluto needs is actually expressed in terms of whatever's opposite the chart from him. So Pluto here represents, or Jupiter here represents a kind of key to Pluto. And that's how this whole thing lines up. It's like all of these are outer, deeper planets, like subconscious and unconscious forces. But Jupiter is where I think people will experience this primarily. So looking at Cancer is exactly the right thing to do and a great start. And I want to show the transits. This is just a little context. Like, this is the main event and what we're talking about. And it unfolds here. Go ahead. Did you
I
have
was going to
something?
say, I love the idea of Uranus in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer for setting
Yeah.
that stability in the personal realm of things, even though these are, the outer planets. I think it's
Yes.
beautiful energy potential.
Yeah. Thank you. And here the transits of Jupiter joining the basket, he makes his relationships with all three planets. They're not staggered. They're a day apart, but they're not staggered. They'll take effect right after the new moon on the 14th, and they'll be in effect for that whole first week. And they'll be concordant with all this other outer planet stuff, which is the other basket aspects. So Neptune sextiles Pluto, Uranus sextiles Neptune, and Uranus trines Pluto right around the same time. We have like a week where all this is happening exactly. And this is what Barbeau looked towards and said, "Oh my gosh, whole world gonna change."
And that's
Do
my
you have
birthday
like
week.
Do you
Here,
have like the exact, okay, so I know that this guy, he's new to me. He's
Mhm.
predicted many things, right? He's predicted things that have come true. He has done some like prophecy stuff.
Okay, okay,
And,
I can give exact details on that because there's
and
only
like what
three
he
things he
said,
predicted.
okay,
Yeah.
he's only predicted three things.
Well, yeah, he's famous. He's
Okay.
well famous for two correct predictions.
Okay.
One later in his life, and he was born in the 1920s. So he didn't live to see all his predictions, but he did predict later in his life that there'd be a great change to the Soviet Union in 1989. That was the essence of his prediction. Fair, I mean, fair to great. And then in 2020, he predicted a worldwide pandemic, like full stop, a worldwide pandemic. He was ahead of everyone in this panel by leaps and bounds. You know, we all looked at that coming and we all said, "Oh shit!" But no one was like, "That's a worldwide pandemic." Barbo was. He did say that, and he looks at the Barbo. He looks at this basket and is called Barbo's basket because his prediction for this is that the world will transition from one world age to a new world age. And everyone thought the age of Aquarius was coming. And the more correct he proved to be, everyone kind of got real excited about this. And the tropicalists might think it's the age of Aquarius, but I think we all know at this point, since this is next month, a little something different might be around the corner.
So he said that this like one world age to a new world age was happening
Mhm.
July of 2026.
That's correct.
Okay, so I just found out about him. This is new. Like I didn't know about any of
Great.
this. This is
That's
this is
perfect.
like almost brand new information
That makes your
to
perspective really
me.
valuable.
And
What do you
also
think?
this like him predicting this new world like today was I found this out today. So it's
Never too
interesting
late.
because my guides, what they've been telling me, that we are, this is take it literally or metaphorically, that we are actually like passing through this almost like passing through the eye of a needle. And there are a lot of quote unquote timelines that just cannot go forward. Things that are limiting us, things that are heavy, the ones that hold on to it, you're just going to get very, very pressurized. So it makes me think of like there's Pluto opposite Jupiter. That's going to be pressure. If you can't expand in the ways in which you can't expand, or you're gripping onto the things, it's just going to be more pressurized and more pressurized. So almost like I've been wondering, are we passing through like a photon belt? Are we going through a wormhole? Are we going through a portal? Whatever
Like a
words
birth
are
canal.
like a birth canal, yes, and moving
Cancer.
through. Exactly. And it's so interesting since like, from my perspective, I got asked to be a birth doula. I'm not a birth doula. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm working with a client right now where we're doing something called like a rebirthing series. So I just find that to be really interesting. And that this person that I found out today predicted this. And so, I just feel like next month, not to put too much pressure on next month, but like, stay focused on like what you actually want, not what
Right.
you don't want. Not don't bypass things, but like, don't grip onto the shit that like is just hasn't been working, because it really needs to be
Yeah.
let go. So
And
I don't know, it feels
Saturn,
You were
exciting.
talking about letting go and surrender as processes, and I had thoughts. I think they're worth sharing, Varun, because I
Mhm.
think you're exactly right about the. Here, I'm going to share my screen just for a moment because it'll help inform it'll help inform what I'm talking about for
as
the
you're doing
astrology
that,
people.
I'm just going to jump in real quick. And I think the support that can come from that don't hold on and surrender is that Saturn in Pisces, even though he's not part of the basket, but that's
Mm.
that if you keep holding on, Saturn in Pisces doesn't let us hold on to anything that we want for the long term. We have to surrender to how it unfolds.
Yeah, you're not in
Right,
control. I think the
That's
more
right.
that we can realize that you can
right,
choose what juice you're going to
right.
drink today, but overall, a lot of this is not within our control. And the more you try to like put God in a headlock, the harder things are going to be for you. Take God
Right.
in whatever word you want.
Yep.
Right, right. Okay, that is exactly why I wanted to show this because what you're talking about is like these aren't really like sometimes Uranus, sure, sometimes for some of us, but mostly these aren't like accessible forces. But what these are forces of deep change in the world. Like take Jupiter and forget him. And before we got there, to adding Jupiter, these three planets are going to be zeroed right now anyway. And this is like a huge, just restructuring, just totally, totally different outer world thing. And it's confusing and it's challenging and it's turbulent. It's change of a turbulent nature for many people. And that is where I think a lot of people who aren't prepared are going to see Jupiter like grow these factors. Jupiter has the potential to really blow this process up, but by the other side of that same coin, Jupiter is where people are going to experience it because Jupiter is more personal. And all of this, the success, the inspiration and being in the right place at the right time, and the intensity of transformation, change, and inspiration can actually all inform Jupiter. Like this all goes both ways. Just like Jupiter will expand the effect of this basket, we are going to reach a tipping point in this change process. And that is going to be a total distraction unless you're focused on this inner aspect of it. And to that end, Varun, I want to co-sign everything you're saying about surrender. And I want to add the observation that surrender is indeed a choice and a process. And what it is the recognition that we are fighting, and it is the cessation of fighting. So we have to identify, in order to surrender, you have to be engaged in conflict. You don't surrender out of like, oh, there's no problem, and I surrender. But if you surrender, you're saying, okay, there is a conflict I'm engaged in, whether it's defensive, offensive, or some other nature. And you're saying, I put this down. For a lot of us, it's a stone in our heart with some bad name on it. And this is an opportunity to put that down. Forgiveness isn't for our aggressors or our oppressors or our violators. Forgiveness is for us so that we can move forward in life without that leaden weight. And this transition is allowing people at the level of their own dreams, hope, Jupiter trine Neptune, to engage in an inner Cancer rebirth. Like the phoenix of all this is so real. The potential, everyone hearing this can skip my next month lunar cycle video. You just heard it. Stay inside, but I mean it, stay inside and you'll be fine. So that's my astrology report.
I mean, we're in the fire horse year, the triple fire horse year. So back to the Phoenix part, it's like, the flaming Pegasus. Things are also moving very fast. So when things are moving fast, it's important to slow down. Like when the energy is like going quickly, like you need to be able to slow down so that you can be intentional. We don't owe anything urgency unless like you're in a true burning building. Like you need to like slow it down to be like, okay, I'm going to pause and I'm going to be like, does this actually align to who I am and where I want to go? Or am I just doing it out of that old operating system? I just acting out of like the old nervous system reacting, So I do think that the ones of us who have been doing this inner journey for like, I don't know, what has it been? Decades.
3 million years now.
3 million years. I do feel there's lifetimes. There is a payoff. I do think there's a quantum tipping point internally and externally. And there's too many people that we can't see all the people doing their inner work. It's invisible to most of us. But I do feel like that tipping point is all of that deep compost that we've all been doing lifetime after lifetime, generation after generation. And things are going to like, just like tipping this glass over. It's like, it's not spilling. And all of a sudden it's like everything changes. And I really think it can be quite instantaneous. It's like a build, and then pop.
This is why, again, it's important the fact that, if we look back at the Barbo's basket thing, that Cancer is not in Leo, right?
No.
We're not in a sun sign. We're in a moon sign. We're in the moon's home stars here, right? We're at the bottom, at the IC, we're at the mysterious. And River, I would love for you to expand a little more on that underworld part and the reaching for, there's the receptive, but also I'm going to put my hand out for it to receive. Would you expand on that thought a little bit for us?
Well, that thought is about Jupiter in general,
Mhm.
that Jupiter's blessings can require an active part on all of us to engage with the opportunity rather than expecting it just to come to you. It can come to you, but I think that there's like a reciprocity with Jupiter. Um, so that's one thing. Were you
I
going to
think
say
of
something?
Jupiter River in a really similar way, like an ask and you shall receive, to get a little biblical
Ask
about it. But
and
the
okay.
thing is, the asking and the receiving are somewhat like engaged. You know, you have to make space and you have to, Varun, you touched on this earlier, that receiving is an act. It's not just something you just stand around like maybe goodness will fall out of the sky like a fruit into my hand today, but you actually, you know, a lot of people engage in the asking for and then opening to
Receive.
that answer. And both magical acts are relevant to the fruition, the idea that this works at all, which we have this idea and we know how it works. But receiving isn't something you can do if you're closed to it. And
Right.
if you're just not like, no, if you're not actively open, I don't know what you're going to receive. Um,
It, I wanted to touch
I'll
on
leave it there.
two things on the Barbeau's basket. One, you were mentioning that the one predictor was the 1989 Soviet Union, and then 31 years later, we're at the pandemic. But then our next basket's only 6 years later. So it's
Hmm.
interesting how that iteration was so far apart and then collapsed. But the other interesting thing is looking at the fact that these outer planets, and for those who may be new, Pluto 248 years to go all the way around the zodiac, Neptune 165, and Uranus 84. So in a lifetime, we experience these energies in a more generational collective kind of way. Again, for people who may not be aware of that. And as we already said, Jupiter is only 12 years. So many of us get a return several times. Interestingly, it plays into this new world age transformation and the fact you've got these three outer planets doing all this conversational work with Jupiter in the stars of our roots, our ancestry, cleaning up all that soul trauma, SOUL trauma. These outer planets are helping us to rebirth in those stars of Cancer. And we have to, as Michael said, we have to expand into that receiving. There's no coincidence on this, and I'm sorry, tropical people, but it doesn't work for you. Just saying
That
it out loud.
yes, that's it. I mean, we've got Cancer, Taurus, Pisces, and Capricorn in
Mm.
in the real. We're
Yeah,
we
that's
we do not have Jupiter and Pluto opposite each other in Leo and Aquarius. That
Nope.
would be a
right.
completely different animal. And we certainly don't have Uranus in Taurus. I'm sorry,
Oh, he
Uranus
is,
in
but
In
it's,
Gemini.
Gemini.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
do not have Uranus in Gemini. We just don't. And Neptune is in her home star. So it's just this is where and I think that that's going to become obvious, maybe like super obvious during these 3 months when people are like, this just really doesn't feel like Pluto and Aquarius, y'all. I'm like, that's because it's not.
But we
And
have but we have the nodes in Leo Aquarius. That's what people are feeling.
I agree.
Yep.
Ooh, something I just read
Sorry.
about the basket, it's also called a cradle. And I just think that
Mm.
that's really
I
perfect
like that
because
better.
we're working with the
Mm.
manger of the beehive cluster, which, like in the manger, there is the cradle, there is like the birth of, like, quote unquote, Christ consciousness. And I just, everything is always connects. No matter what system you look at, like for me, I like looking at a whole bunch of different systems because, like, my brain does that, and everything is always connecting together. And astrology is never this one isolated event. It's like a story that's unfolding, and so I just find that to be really cool. We're remembering that we are co-creating this reality. We're remembering that instead of just being like, here's the system, we obey, this is what we're told to do, put your head down and like do your grunt work. No, like you get to a point, you're like, wait a minute, I actually can ask for more. Wait a minute, I can live a life I love. Like I don't have to just do the same thing that the parents did or the grandparents did. So I love the cradle of like, the rebirthing something in this manger scene of the beehive cluster, that cool place in the middle of the Cancer constellation of, I think it's like 1,000 stars. Is that right, River? 1,000 stars, something like that.
Sounds good to
Sounds
me.
good.
I know
Oh,
it's a
okay.
lot.
1,000 stars. It's
A
also
lot.
it's also the place of the bee priestesses. It's a beehive cluster. So the bee priestesses, the Melissa priestesses, the ones at the Temple of Delphi, they're the ones that actually trained Apollo and that whole lineage of oracles. So this is really a time of like deep, deep, deep intuition. The more that you go in yourself, release what's not you, you're going to know what you want, who you are, and how to show up for it. So, oracular knowledge isn't just for a few chosen. We all have our deep intuition if we choose to listen to it. I think this is a good time to tune in to yourself.
Yeah.
Myself.
Well, and look at how much underworld and water and moon energy is active in this. It's not sun signs and rainbows. It's Cancer, it's Capricorn, it's Pisces, it's Taurus, it's not Leo and Aquarius. It's built in the deep waters, the connection between Cancer and Pisces with Neptune and Jupiter there is so profound.
I
And
mean,
I think even Capricorn and Pisces with Pluto and Neptune being sextile forever, and they're sextile forever, right? They're sextile for a
Oh, let me show
really,
you.
really long time.
wait, will you say
Let
that
me
again,
show
Maria?
you.
Will you say that will you say that all again? Sextile forever before that?
Yeah, Neptune and Pluto are sextile forever. Neptune in her home stars, where she's there forever because it's a big sign, and really she's still in
Forever, and as how long is forever?
Michael?
Well, we say
Forever.
forever, how long
For
is that?
forever, Varun is a matter of Neptune sextile Pluto beginning July 25th, 2026,
Mhm.
and extending to the last contact April 12th, 2031.
Okay.
So
That's not forever, but
that is
yeah.
the longest part of the basket. The other
Okay.
parts of the basket, like Uranus, Pluto, which is definitely going to be catalytic, haven't started yet. And actually, the first contact will be July 18th, 2 days before Big Barbeau and his cradle. So that kicks off with Barbeau and makes 5 more contacts. That's Uranus, Pluto. We haven't seen that yet. We'll start to
Really?
see that. Yeah, haven't seen it yet.
We
In
And that
haven't
terms of
goes
hasn't
for
the
that
how
been
long?
in hasn't that been
we
in double
saw we
sextile
saw a
sign?
0 degree relationship in 2025, but it makes first contact uh, July 18th, 2026.
Mm.
We haven't
Until
seen it. We've
when?
only seen it be in degree. So Uranus trine Pluto is 2026 to 2028. It'll go through
Oh,
summer 2028, two
okay.
years of Uranus Pluto. And then Uranus Neptune, we're going to hit the middle, the crest of. We've already had 2, and we'll have 2 more, and that'll be over 2027. So until 2027, Uranus Neptune, things are weird. Until 2028, Uranus Pluto, things are going to change right under your feet. And until 2031, yeah, Neptune, Pluto, that is like spiritual clarification and all kinds of finding the path and purpose stuff.
So
Mm.
this
And that's
basket's going to
all.
be basketing for a while.
Well, it's going to catalyze processes that are going to be in effect. They're going to, especially Uranus opposite, sorry, trine Pluto is going to be in effect. It's going to start with the basket and develop from there, while so will Neptune, Pluto to some extent. sort of also, it looks like July 25th, they'll make their first contact. So the basket really kicks off this 2 year and what's that, 5 year
Yeah,
process.
5 year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Forever.
and it marks the peak of Uranus Neptune. So it's going to be highly strange. We know it's going to be strange AF, and it's going to take the world on a run, like we were trying to walk a Saint Bernard or something.
Well, and
My take on that.
Pluto, Neptune are retrograde, so you've got some pullback on their energy a little bit. And five, numerologically, we said 5 years. Five is the number of change. So
Mm, you know,
I think we're in it. And
I,
somebody in our chat, the Mythology Studio in our chat said we're going to be basket cases.
Aren't we
Yeah.
always? I thought I was
maybe.
already. I'm already cray cray, so I'll
But
just stay tuned.
Call it a cradle.
you can weave a new basket,
There
right?
you go.
Yeah.
I wanted to just ping another like time period in that when Jupiter and Pluto conjoined most recently, that was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just a world event that occurred at that conjunction. It happened, I think, 3 times because of the retrograde
Yep.
motion of Jupiter and everything. But the big explosion in Beirut, if you all remember that
Yeah.
massive explosion that occurred in Beirut, happened at one of their conjunctions. But it also just the year 2020, as far as it being one of the years in the Barbeau predicted, but that's also the conjunction of Jupiter and Pluto. And now I see the opposition as like the full moon between the two. And so I just think it's quite incredible that at this full moon between Jupiter and Pluto, all this other stuff is happening.
Right.
And
It's
yeah,
brilliant. It's brilliant because it's just like that. The what met as a seed in the new moon is now in like full expression, and what 2020 wanted from us, right? It's we're through with 2020, but this process isn't through with any of us.
That's
So we're
we're still at it.
yeah, this whole thing, this whole transformation is going to be, like you said, Verona, birth process. It's not just a moment of vivid entry, explosion into the world, but there's a gestation period and a process, and there's all kinds of things that happen on the way to a healthy new born baby. That doesn't just oh that just happened. There's going to be
No.
something for the next couple of years.
Oh yeah. I mean, look around. I mean, there's amazing things out here and there's also crazy stuff out there. I mean, maybe that's just Earth. Maybe you have to experience like the beauty and the terror all together. I don't know if like we're ever going to get to this place that's like utopia. I'm not sure if that's what Earth is about, but do I believe that things could definitely change for the better? Absolutely. Do I think there's things on this planet that like need to go? Absolutely. And I do believe that our perception and our deep inner knowing that things can be better is really important. It's like for me, I was born into a very abusive family. If I just thought, well, this is all I get, I'd probably be dead. But I always knew deep inside of myself, well, there's got to be something better for me. So I do think that Jupiter, that inner faith of like, I know that even if I cannot see it around me, even if I can't touch it right now, I know that it exists. I absolutely know without a doubt in my mind. And I'm just going to keep on moving towards that with inevitability, whether that happens tomorrow or in 10 years or in 20 years. And I think that having that unshakable, unbreakable faith is something that has to be fortified every single day. It's a daily practice. It's not in a book you read. It's not in one mantra that you say. It's every single day waking up and knowing and feeling and living like that. And I truly believe that's what can change this planet,
Mm-hmm.
Changes a lifestyle. I love that. I
And
love that.
it's like
And
gestating an elephant.
Right?
it is.
No
Does
thank
anybody want to see the full chart for July 20th?
Sure.
sure.
Full chart sounds good.
Oops.
Also, elephants feel Jupiterian. Just saying. Ganesha.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
in that 2020 conjunction, that's when I uprooted my entire life from the place I lived 34 years and moved to Arizona knowing nobody, and it was in my fourth house.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Yep. Yep.
power moment.
Yep. Yeah, and this chart is 4 days after my birthday.
Can we make it bigger?
Oh, yeah.
What, my birthday or the chart?
Both, you know, the chart.
There
How's
we
that?
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
Can I make my screen bigger? Yeah, okay, there we go. I'll make me bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sun will be applying to Jupiter at that point
Uh-huh. Yep.
If Sun will be in
in
Cancer then.
Cancer.
So
Yeah.
you can see here's the Pluto opposition. There's one. Now Micah, I thought that these three have been in that double sextile trine relationship already.
Well, with
So
retrograde, they may have been.
yeah, Uranus had been in a trine relationship to Pluto.
Not exact contact yet, but
Not
they
exact.
have been in a 0-degree trine, very close, and then moved out of it.
Gotcha.
I can, if
Didn't
you would
quite
like
get there
to,
and then didn't.
exactly, not exact contact. If you'd like to see the transits, I'll send them to you. I could put them on the screen again.
I
or
would.
just put,
Yeah, that's cool. I completely believe you. But those
cool.
that you show were the exacts. Okay.
Yeah, those
Also,
X's, right.
Mercury retrograde is going to be with Sirius at this
I know,
time.
I was looking at that.
Squaring
Yeah.
the moon.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Really?
applying to Sirius, yeah, definitely in the orb and applying. So
And Black Moon Lilith is close to the
seems
vertex and Ophiuchus, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And asteroid Lilith is right on the gate,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
right on
Look at
Betelgeuse,
that.
right on the Orion's belt.
Across, we've got a Lilith opposition like this whole time. They're opposite each other too, which is super interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Black Moon and Lilith asteroid, for those who may not
Yeah.
know when we say
Yeah.
Lilith. Oh, and then we have Chiron just about to leave Pisces soon.
Yes.
And it is
And you're
not
listing,
in Aries or Taurus, people. It's not ingressing into Taurus. Go use your sky. Sorry, can't resist. Did I say I have a
Yeah,
Gemini heavy chart?
you have
And then-
Sedna in this chart, Maria. That's
I
great
do have
because
Sedna in this chart.
Sedna is really affecting Uranus right now. Very, very
Yeah.
close to the ecliptic Sedna is. And Sedna has like 11,000 years, 11,400 year orbit. So when Sedna joins this energy of the basket and joins via conjunction with Uranus, we're talking about, and Sedna's near to perihelion, closest point in their very elliptical orbit to the sun. So bringing in energies of great antiquity. Talk about what you were doing 12 years ago. What we were doing 11,400 years ago was coming out of the Wisconsin Ice Age and establishing civilization such as we understand it today. And all of this is inseparable from Uranus and this change that he represents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we talked about that in our last roundtable. So if y'all missed it, go catch the replay. I created a playlist called the Starlight Council, so you can go catch it there if you want. But we did talk about that 11,400 years ago.
So Sedna joins the basket.
Yes.
In essence, yes, and closely. She's not like it's off in distant northern or southern constellations. She's close to the ecliptic in the high 80s of Taurus.
Yeah, because she's like the closest she is on her like orbit, like she is to the sun. So yeah, that's so interesting because back to the civilization piece, right? So if we're getting like a new civilization, a new Earth, like things that people say, that would make sense that something so old, bringing this old energy back around from when maybe civilization kind of first begun. It's like, hey, are we gonna do the same thing? Or do something different? Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue that modern civilization, such as we think we understand it, began like roughly roughly related to that time. We do have tepe sites that indicate that people were already fantastic builders,
Yeah.
and they were capable of great. So we don't know. We also know the human fossil record goes back about 300,000 years. So there's no real reason to think with that for 300,000 years we just we're doing stupid cave stuff like bonk and drag. But probably then we discovered civilization. We may even have been created and gifted civilization from the very beginning. So, like, I want
Oh
to just
yeah.
remind everyone that it's all crazy. And when we think in great spans of time, just to remember that the historical record has a lot more questions than answers. So, nonetheless, 11,400 years is a serious long time. It's a real cycle, and there is reason to believe that it did correspond with a great cycle, a great geological cycle. That's right around the time of the Younger Dryas, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
12,600, I think.
Okay, perfect. That's close enough. If we're
I'm going to ask a question. I don't know if anybody has the answer. I don't even know how to ask this question. Is okay. So I think you just said something, Michael, where like maybe we were gifted civilization. So I kind of want to like spring off of
oh
that instead
sure.
of, because I don't believe that it's just been this linear thing. Because I look outside and I see Taco Bell and I see KFC and I'm just like, what happened to the beautiful, ornate, architecture that nobody knows how to even make anymore? So I'm just wondering if there was any kind of astrological happening in the past where it seems like maybe like our star ancestors came down and were like, hey, we're just going to like download you or activate you with this wisdom so that you know how to do something that maybe you had amnesia to before. Does this make sense if I ask a question like this?
I think they just left us cats. And then they just left cats, and that's my answer. They didn't. I don't know if they still communicate directly. They
Okay, there
certainly don't
wasn't
talk to
any,
me.
there was no kind of looking back into the past charts of like the ancient charts, was there any kind of configuration that looks like we were kind of like
Mm.
almost like our God particle was like turned on or something?
Mm. I hear you, and I made a video about installing long-term ephemerides in Stellarium, and I've looked for stuff like that. I've never seen it. I've never seen like an
Okay,
origin point or like one critical like Big Bang in astrology. Nope.
okay, okay, all right. Just wondering.
Thank you for that. It's an amazing question, and I love it.
Our own research project.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
although,
I don't know.
the transit of Sedna
Yeah.
could be that thing, that sort of, what do they say, Planet Nine, that was like
Oh,
the
Mm,
like
last
yeah,
time
yeah.
Like
that planet
Nirubu or
came
something?
by. Yeah. The last time
That'll
that
have to
planet
be
came
our
by,
next.
mm, maybe it was
That'll have to
Sedna.
be our next one, Planet X or Nibiru,
That's it.
whatever the
Oh wait.
theoretical
Oh
planet that
well,
they.
hold on. The
Oh, hold
Anunnaki,
that thought.
I have in my notes. Hold on, I gotta go back to my notes. Where did it
You
say?
should read Julie's notes. Her dogs are tearing her living room up, and we got a time. We
The
got a
crab
time to
occupied
wind
the most
down
northern
mourning.
section of the ecliptic called the Mulipin, and it was also called the seat of the Anu. There's something about all of this. I don't have the answer. Maybe I'm not going to go back through a million charts. It would be like the guides would have to just tell me a date and I'd look it up.
Rabbit hole. Love
But
it.
can't go down too many rabbit holes. But yeah, that like, where did we really come from? I think this goes back into like a deeper kind of philosophical question is like, like, what is evolution really what we think it is? Or like, are we actually like star beings? Or I
Yeah.
like to question everything because, like, to me, everything's up for kind of like debate. But yeah,
Well,
anyways.
then this is why we need another council. Maybe like right around the 20th, when the weirdest is at its
Ooh,
weirdest, we
yeah.
go and we visit this topic. Like, okay, so what about Anunnaki and Nibiru and all of that?
Yeah, and make it like
Let's do
something
it.
that can even be like, seen in a chart. I love when the woo woo becomes very kind of like
Well, then
scientific.
let's do it, guys. Let's get our woo-woo on for the next few
Next,
weeks, and then we'll come back in late July and
it's
get
woo
weird
season.
and get like
It's woo
super
season
weird.
for the
That's
next
woo
5 years.
season.
It's woo season,
There
so
you
we'll
go.
have
Yeah.
time. We'll have time.
One of y'all gets to keep
Cool,
track of that topic.
Okay.
cool, cool,
Got it.
cool.
Okay. Cool.
Fabulous.
Let's close
Well,
out, guys.
Yes, I've
Yeah,
got
let's
two
wrap it up.
puppies protesting loudly, speaking of animals and energy. So we'll call it good here. And thank you to all who joined us. We had a few live folks. So go check the chat out if there's questions. Again, Julie Sherwood, yourbesthopeswc.com. The live replay will actually be posted on my YouTube channel. Ms. Maria at Venus-13.com. River, go ahead and speak. I can't talk.
Yeah. River of Stars Astrology, Substack, Facebook, Instagram.
There you go. Michael?
OneSkyAstro.com.
Beautiful. And Ms. Verone?
Starship Moonbeam on Instagram, or Star Body Empowerment on Spotify. I can't talk either. It's the Cancer energy. I'm
It's
like,
time.
anyways,
It's time.
we'll post the links.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next roundtable. Please share, like, subscribe, do all that stuff because we want to get the word out. All right. Thanks,
Bye.
friends.